Guys, I want to invite you to check out our new channel called Arena Hakai. While on this channel, we will continue to bring you videos telling the best Dragon Ball stories, on Arena Hakai, we will provide you with the best theories and analysis. We're doing our best with the content on this new channel, so subscribe there and give us a chance. I'm sure you won't regret it. The link to Arena Hakai will be in the video description, so don't forget to visit us there. Dragon Ball Kakumei is currently one of the biggest Dragon Ball stories on the planet. This manga, in addition to telling a story that fans of the franchise have dreamed of seeing for a long time, also manages to deliver absolutely incredible art to us that even surpasses the official manga in some ways. Now we're going to tell you the incredible story of Dragon Ball Kakumei, one of the best Dragon Ball stories of all time. If you are already a fan of Dragon Ball Kakumei, leave your like on the video to help it reach here on the platform, and also subscribe to the channel to receive more videos from us. Without further ado, let's start now with this absolutely incredible story. Chapter 1. Son Goku's Last Training. Among all the fighters the Z Warriors have faced during their odyssey, a formidable new Saiyan has appeared. Goku and Vegeta fought hard to defeat this new enemy. These two ended up uniting their powers to defeat the monster they were facing, Broly. Goku's innocence and pure mind made him see goodness within the legendary warrior's soul. Broly was then indebted to Goku, and an inconceivable friendship was born. While everything was peaceful throughout Universe 7, an event from the past was about to affect the future. The consequences of a benevolent act will impact events to come on a very large scale. Universe 6, Planet Sadala. Champa is relaxing on the home planet of the Saiyans of Universe 6, but not so much as Caulifla is disturbing him, asking to learn some secret techniques, being ignored by the god of destruction. Suddenly, Champa seems to feel something that makes him spit out the drink he's drinking, and he wonders what he's feeling. An earthquake begins on the planet, surprising Caulifla and Kale. Caulifla asks if this is one of the techniques that Champa will teach her today, which means that probably the reason he and Vados are on planet Sadala is that they are training the Saiyans. Still ignoring Caulifla, Champa asks Vados why BEERUS is in his universe. Vados only responds that this is curious. Behind her and Champa, Caulifla goes crazy with excitement, telling Kale that revenge is coming, and tell Goku just to wait. In Universe 11, Toppo is kneeling in front of Belmod for some reason, the two being watched by Margarita. But suddenly they are in shock, and the reason for all this surprise seems to be Goku. There seems to be an earthquake there too, leaving Belmod and Toppo completely surprised. Margarita comments that it is as if they were very close to them. In other words, they are feeling the key of two people. Universe 7, Planet Earth. Some very serious natural catastrophes are happening on Earth, with one of the cities, probably West City, being devastated by several tornadoes. A bus is being carried by the wind, and everything seems to be lost for those inside the bus. But Krillin is there, and he emanates his key, ready to act. Krillin uses his superhuman strength to hold his bus and put it back on the ground, and then instructs whoever is inside to get out one by one without panic. People obey Krillin, leaving the bus as calmly as possible. In a situation like that, Krillin begins to reflect as if he were talking to Goku in his mind. He asks if Goku doesn't think his unbridled quest for power isn't going too far. Goku finally appears. He's emanating an absurdly high amount of ki, filled with an aura of power. He has a very serious and concentrated expression. BEERUS, who's facing him, is also releasing a very high amount of power. He has an expression like he's having fun. On BEERUS's planet, Whis watches everything with the oracle fish by his side. He receives a call on his staff, and when the angel answers the call, he sees that it is the Supreme Kai, Shin, who is on the sacred planet, together with the old Kai. Shin greets Whis and apologizes if what he's about to say is inappropriate, but comments that the entire universe is shaking. And also Goku and BEERUS's aura seems to be going berserk. Shin asks Whis to explain what's happening. Whis laughs and then responds to Shin, saying that what is happening is the culmination of Son Goku's training. And speaking of Goku, he seems very impressed with his own power, looking at his hand in surprise. BEERUS accumulates a small amount of energy at the tip of his nail, but it is enough to destroy a small celestial body behind Goku when he dodges. Goku's counterattack appears to be instantaneous, but BEERUS also manages to dodge it, leaving another small celestial body to be destroyed behind him. And then one advances against the other, making an attack while dodging the other's attack. And the pressure they release with these blows is so strong that other small celestial bodies near them are destroyed. After that attack, Goku assumes his combat stance to gather strength and attempt another strike. However, BEERUS dodges with incredible speed, maneuvering behind Goku and delivering a powerful kick to the back of his head. Goku feels the impact intensely, with blood even splattering from his mouth. But Goku manages to react by disappearing from where he is and starting to move while firing several ki balls at the God of Destruction. But BEERUS, using a very peculiar technique, creates a kind of elastic ki that stops Goku's shots and launches the energy sphere back at him, leaving Goku completely surprised. A series of explosions are generated, illuminating that region of space, but despite this, Goku manages to resist very well, blowing away the smoke with an armful, making BEERUS surprised. And at an impressive speed, Goku comes out of the smoke and goes to BEERUS's back. He's preparing a power attack in one of his hands, which he then fires while shouting. Goku's energy attack manifests itself in an extraordinary torrent of power, which destroys everything in front of him while sending BEERUS flying far away, bleeding. Because of the strength of this last attack, BEERUS ends up colliding and passing through several celestial bodies, shattering them as he touches. Goku just watches all this, but suddenly BEERUS's hand grabs Goku's face, catching him completely surprised. Goku looks wide-eyed at the God of Destruction, who's already right in front of him, and apparently even more thirsty for violence. BEERUS begins to gather energy in his other hand in the form of a small sphere, which he brings to Goku's face, ready to explode it in his face. But from one moment to the next, Goku disappears from in front of him, surprising BEERUS with his speed. But BEERUS wastes no time and goes after Goku, shouting at him to stop running and saying that it doesn't suit him. On a planet called Gia, an animal that appears to be a mix of a dog and a goat is ready to drink some water in a lake when suddenly Goku and BEERUS appear, there in a split second exchanging blows. And suddenly the lake disappeared and the animal is bald. BEERUS continues chasing Goku through space, completely hallucinating, shouting for Goku, leaving even Goku a little scared. BEERUS finally manages to catch Goku, grabbing him by the ankle and starting to spin him around in space to gain more and more strength, leaving Goku desperate and helpless. BEERUS then manages to gain great strength and pulls Goku with so much energy that he even releases several electrical sparks from his body. And he finally launches Goku. The force is so great that a beam of light and electricity is formed around the Saiyan, who begins to cut through space at a completely extraordinary speed, certainly exceeding the speed of light itself by several times, covering an absolutely colossal distance. The speed of movement is so high that Goku's body begins to give in a little, blood spraying from the wounds and even from his mouth. He goes towards a planet, and when he reaches the planet, he crosses it from one side to the other. And even crossing this planet, Goku continues to move, but at a slower speed. Now he heads towards another planet, which is called Taco Taco. On this planet, life is going on normally when a child sees something coming and points while saying something in their language. What's approaching is a ray of light coming from the sky, which is Goku. Goku hits the planet's ground with all his force, opening a gigantic crater in the place while feeling monstrous pain and expelling a jet of blood from his mouth. A huge hole is created in that region, and everything around is destroyed. Goku is left sprawled and burned on the ground, almost unconscious and even releasing smoke from his mouth. That child approaches him, curious about what is happening. Behind him, someone shouts something, surely telling him not to approach Goku. Suddenly, a very strong glow radiates, even forcing the boy to protect his eyes. The trigger for all this brilliance is BEERUS, who has just created a globe of energy, apparently with the intention of launching it against the planet. Seen from the planet, it even looks like a sun that has just been created there because of the light it emanates. Goku, who previously seemed unconscious, manages to come to, and his eyes begin to show some reaction. He finally regains consciousness and starts to get up. The child who approached Goku is scared of him, and Goku starts shouting at him to get out of there. BEERUS from above gives a slightly evil smile. Goku realizes the God of Destruction's intention and flies off the planet towards the moon there. As he flies away from the planet, he wonders why BEERUS is putting an entire species at risk because of this, but he suddenly realizes something, and when he looks at his leg, he sees that the boy is holding on to him. BEERUS prepares to launch the attack and tells Goku to prepare. Goku lands on the moon with the boy holding onto his leg and despairs when he sees that attack coming towards him, certainly wondering what to do. BEERUS's global power simply swallows that moon, making it look small next to that mass of pure power. On BEERUS's planet, Whis comments to Oracle Fish that it's been 30 minutes since Goku and BEERUS left there. Oracle Fish says that Goku is really impressive for being able to keep up a fight against BEERUS for so long. As the Oracle Fish suddenly falls asleep, Whis reveals he has a bad feeling and wonders if he should join the two. The Oracle Fish at that moment begins to make a prophecy. It will act up to our own ending. Universe's consequences. Whis gets a little worried when he hears this and asks if this prophecy is about Goku and BEERUS's fight. On Earth, things already seem to have returned to normal. Mr. Satan comments that the earthquake has stopped, and Majin Buu says he's hungry as always. Chi-Chi is fighting the food she's cooking and says that Goku better arrive soon, while Videl calms her down by saying that he'll be here soon, and also says that Gohan is looking forward to seeing him. Meanwhile, Mr. Satan introduces Majin Buu to Pan. Gohan and Piccolo are in a more isolated place. They seem to observe Goku and Beerus' fight through the feeling of ki. Piccolo says that Goku's training seems to have come to an end, and tells Gohan that his father should come soon. Gohan has a serious expression and says that speaking of training, he will return to training soon, since you never know what could happen. Piccolo says he's happy to hear that and praises Gohan's desire to defend his own people, but asks how his studies will be. For some reason, Gohan stares at a bird in the sky very seriously. Then he turns to Piccolo and says he will find a way to reconcile the two things. On a planet called Pishin, which has gravity 2,000 times greater than Earth's, someone can travel around the globe several times. This person flies with so much power that he even destroys the planet's mountains as he passes. This person is Vegeta, who in addition to training in 2,000 times increased gravity, is also carrying weights on his arms and legs. And he does all this in the base form. Vegeta is very angry and says he is stagnating. He lands on the ground, taking a while to stop because of his very high speed. Vegeta is very frustrated and notices that the training he is doing is becoming useless. A few minutes earlier, on one of the moons of planet Taco Taco, we can see what happened to Goku after the attack by Beerus. The result of that globe of power launched by the God of Destruction into his body is simply shocking. Goku, even with some difficulty speaking, complains to Beerus that if it weren't for his help, an entire civilization would be extinct. Beerus doesn't care about this and responds that he's just doing his job as a God of Destruction. This enrages Goku, who has a very dark expression, but then he smiles and talking to the boy who has grabbed his leg, the Saiyan says that everything will be fine. After saying that, he simply collapses next to the boy, now returning to base form. Beerus comments that no mortal offered him a fight like that, and even among the gods there are few who made him use so much power. But it seems that Goku has reached his limit. Whis comes to them to observe everything more closely. At that moment, Goku begins to hallucinate, floating in his own consciousness. His friends come to mind: Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, Master Roshi, and Piccolo. Vegeta makes fun of him, saying he's on the ropes. Even Baba appears, telling him to wake up. Goku wonders what that place is. He sees water and says it's a good time, since he was getting thirsty. Suddenly, Goku begins to regain his consciousness, and now he's emanating a glow and an aura of intense power, revealing his Ultra Instinct, impressing the alien child. From one moment to the next, Goku already took that boy off the moon and took him back to his planet. After that, he looks very seriously in the direction of Beerus, passing by the God of Destruction at an incredible speed that surprises him and heading towards a celestial body nearby. Goku grabs this thing, and he seems to start absorbing power from something as flakes of energy come at him and start to form a chain of power. Goku closes his eyes, and that energy begins to spread among several other celestial bodies that are nearby, leaving Beerus surprised and intrigued. Goku starts to make some movements with his arms, and then suddenly a titanic dragon of energy is formed, swallowing those various celestial bodies. This energy dragon heads towards Beerus, ready to swallow the God of Destruction, who is scared by that thing. The dragon appears to hit Beerus, but a dark energy begins to surround it, drawing Goku's attention. In the next second, Beerus' hand touches Goku's shoulder, and now the God of Destruction shows his true God of Destruction form. Beerus tells Goku to be proud, as he barely remembers the last time he combined these two powers. But Goku is not afraid, and faces Beerus with courage. He disappears from the front of the destroyer in an instant, going to his back, but Beerus says it's useless to resist, since now Goku looks like a turtle to him. Goku ignores it, and keeping a fixed and predatory look at Beerus, points his hands at him, and then recoils his hands to prepare his attack. Goku begins to concentrate a high amount of power in his hands, ready to probably launch his most powerful Kamehameha ever. Whis comments that these two are really going further and further. He says that for Beerus to combine the power of destruction with Ultra Instinct, it's because he considers Goku a powerful warrior. Goku remains focused on his target with a very serious look. Beerus swings his arm from side to side as if warming up. He says this fight came right when he was getting rusty. Goku is now ready to attack with everything he has, but suddenly his body freezes and he seems to feel a very strong pain. Beerus and Whis are surprised by this and watch Goku go from top to bottom, both with a slightly disappointed expression. Goku falls unconscious. The energy he was accumulating disperses, and all that is left in him now is the layer of oxygen placed by Whis. BEERUS gets very angry, complaining that he was starting to get into the mood, but Whis is more understanding and says that this form is very difficult to control, even for Goku. Only now does BEERUS seem to realize something important, and so he asks Whis about his planet. In the sacred world of the Supreme Kais, old Kai bursts into laughter while reading something, and Shin is reflecting on what kind of power Goku used just now. But they are interrupted when BEERUS arrives there with a nothing, threatening stance, taking Whis' staff and threatening to beat Shin up if he doesn't fix his planet. Whis doesn't like this very much and tells BEERUS that the object he's holding is very precious. When he takes a look at BEERUS' planet, Shin is absolutely shocked, his eyes popping out of his face. Whis finds all this funny, BEERUS not so much. Shin is very thoughtful, and BEERUS asks if he can fix it or not, in a threatening tone. Shin says he can fix it just will take a little longer than he expected. BEERUS calls Whis to come back to get Goku, as the atmospheric aura placed on him must be running out. Whis tells BEERUS not to underestimate him, touching his staff on the ground and taking them both away at high speed. Over an intense nebula, some towers are erected. These towers form part of a very glorious construction, which is the place of the Grand Priest. In this palace, the Grand Priest himself is waiting for something. The people he is waiting for are his children, who enter the main hall of the palace together. Daishinkan thanks them all for their presence. He says that they all already know why they are there, and there is information missing for all of them. However, before telling them everything, Daishinkan warns that no words that are said should come out of there. And if Zeno finds out about anything that will be said there, heavy sanctions will be issued. After clearly threatening his children by emphasizing the importance of everything being a secret, Daishinkan begins to explain the situation. He says that, as they all know, Lapis, which is Android 17's real name, wished after the Tournament of Power that all the universes that disappeared would be restored. The problem is that with that request, the other 7 universes that were in the void were also restored. Campari is surprised when Daishinkan mentions the number 7, as there were originally 18 universes. In other words, only 6 universes should have been restored. But Daishinkan says there's something he never mentioned to them before. There was a 19th universe, called Universe 0. When they hear this, the angels make a mixture of surprise, irritation, and disappointment expressions, staring at their father. Kusu asks why their father hid this. Daishinkan responds that he couldn't have done it any other way. The angels begin to mutter some speculation, deducing that Daishinkan may have thought there is a traitor among them. But suddenly someone comments that perhaps Daishinkan himself is the traitor. The angels begin to wonder who said this, and it is at this moment that they notice with surprise the presence of someone behind them. But among them, the one who is most surprised is Daishinkan, who says in his thoughts that he should have already imagined this. The one who has just arrived is a woman who tells the angels that the person they call father is just a coward who is afraid to face his own past actions. Mojito asks who she thinks she is to judge their father, but Margarita tells him to calm down and that they have to remain neutral no matter the situation. Suddenly, all the angels fall to their knees with a simple command from this woman, and after ordering them to kneel, she tells them they don't realize how ignorant they are. She says she never abandoned them and that she will tell them about this imposter's past. Daishinkan just stares at her, very tense. Chapter 2. Kansei and Kaishi. A few minutes before the meeting of the angels took place, on BEERUS' planet, Whis asks how Goku feels and says that their fight was of great proportions. Goku apologizes for all the commotion their fight generated and says he was so obsessed with the possibility of defeating BEERUS that he may have gone a little too far. BEERUS makes fun of Goku for considering the possibility of defeating him, saying that he is just a reckless young mortal. But Goku says he's not that young anymore. Whis asks Goku to get up and says it's time to heal him. Goku agrees and gets up, but asks Whis to leave the scar on his back. He says he will only ask to remove the scar when he manages to inflict an injury of this level on BEERUS. BEERUS doesn't like that. Whis laughs and agrees, and then covers Goku's body with his power. Goku is amazed when his body is completely revitalized, and says that this power is as effective as the Senzu beans, and that it can be useful in critical moments. Whis says that the power of the angels is like that. The angel's attention is drawn to some flower petals passing by him, which he recognizes as magnolia petals. Whis notes that it appears that Shin took some liberties when fixing the planet, and BEERUS didn't like that at all. Whis asks what Goku intends to do now. He replies that he doesn't know. He remembers that he still has the power of Ultra Instinct to dominate, and comments that despite not being able to think of a better power than Ultra Instinct, he still hasn't managed to win a battle using this ability, neither Jiren nor BEERUS. And he stops thinking about it and says that first of all, he's going to go back to his wife and children, since Chi-Chi must be very worried. On the way to Earth, Goku asks Whis what he is intending to do. Whis responds that he has to check something and that he has a bad feeling. Goku is very intrigued when Whis says this and wonders what could be making Whis worried. Whis looks at him for a moment, perhaps wondering if he should tell him or not. In the end, he decides to tell him and says that he is feeling a new presence, a tremendous force concentrated in a power in the universe that wasn't there before. Goku becomes more serious when he hears this, and then he calls for Whis and, touching the angel's shoulder, asks him to take care of it. Whis doesn't like this touch and tells Goku to take his hand off. Goku doesn't remove his hand, and then Whis speaks again, this time much angrier, and releasing a power that seems to invoke Goku's hand. Even so, Goku doesn't remove his hand and keeps staring at Whis, who continues to stare back at him, increasingly frightened. Finally, Goku obeys and takes his hand away from Whis, who says that it's not Goku's job to deal with the universe's problems. Goku retorts, saying that it's not the first time he's doing this. He says that of course it's his job, and that Whis can trust him. Whis thinks for a moment in silence and then ends up agreeing, but says that he can't stay with Goku since the Grand Priest called him. He creates a device with his magic and says that if Goku needs him, all he needs to do is press this button. Goku thanks him as he takes the device. Whis isn't completely convinced yet and says that idea isn't very reasonable, but Goku says he won't disappoint him. They continue traveling through space at high speed until they finally arrive at the place. But when they arrive, they notice something that clearly worries them both. They see a very peculiar point in space, a distortion point called Universe Zero. Returning to the current moment in the Grand Priest's palace, that mysterious woman is still talking. She says that she didn't abandon them, referring to the other angels, and says that she will tell them about this imposter past, referring to Daishinkan. Daishinkan gets tired of standing still, and after rising from his throne, he orders everyone to stand. When he exclaims this order, a power comes out from him and spreads throughout the place. The other angels who were on their knees because of some mysterious power of this woman can now stand up. As they get up, they ask Daishinkan to explain himself, and ask who this woman so similar to an angel is. Daishinkan begins to speak, saying that this woman is indeed an angel. More than that, she is their mother. He says that this 19th universe that he mentioned before was particularly powerful and united. This universe released a monstrous force and threatened the balance established by Zeno. He says something needed to be done quickly, and without Zeno knowing, the woman starts laughing, mainly because Daishinkan used the word quickly. She says that expanding space-time may be a brief action for him, but she wouldn't call it dying quickly. Feeling time tearing apart the bodies of innocent people by the billions. That may have lasted a second for him, but for them, it was several tens of billions of years. Daishinkan justifies this by saying that he doesn't have a power like Zeno's, so he had no other alternative. The other angels are very shocked when they hear all this, especially since Daishinkan is admitting such act. The woman asks if everyone heard this, emphasizing that their father preferred to hide this barbaric act rather than simply be honest with Zeno. But she tells them not to blame the Grand Priest, since none of this is his fault, or the Omni King. At that same moment, in Universe 12, the god of destruction Jin notices something that surprises him. Someone who also notices something is Belmod from Universe 11, who says he recognizes these energies. It seems that some strange energies are being felt in the universes. The angel woman finishes speaking, saying that what she really blames is the current system, which forced the father of angels to act. As she says this, some people begin to arrive at the place, and then the presence of several strange beings dressed as angels and gods of destruction is revealed. Who is this woman, who is said to be the mother of angels? What does she and these other angels and gods of destruction intend to do? What will happen to Goku? Who is investigating that strange universe? Find out in the next chapters of Dragon Ball Kakumei. And this is the first part of the Dragon Ball Kakumei saga here on the channel, guys. If you enjoyed it and want us to bring more Dragon Ball Kakumei here on the channel, like the video and comment, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next parts. Many people say that Dragon Ball Kakumei is the Dragon Ball story that every fan of the franchise dreams of. Do you agree with this, or do you think it is an exaggerated statement? Comment what you think. A big hug to all of you. Thank you to everyone who has stuck with me so far, and I'll see you in the next video.